So I've had the Grit Runner Elite from Tru Grit Fitness for just over 6 months. I've made some previous videos where I go over the assembly, a 1-week update, and a 30-day review where I go a little more in depth talking about all the specs and everything that you need to know. I'll leave a link in the description for those. But in this video, I want to tell you how I feel about it now, 6 months later. Is it still a great piece of equipment? Is it still a good addition to any home gym? If you don't want to wait around to the end, the simple answer is yeah. It's a great piece of equipment and it will be a great asset in any home gym. But if you want to know why I feel that way, stick around to the end to find out. Hey, my name's Mike Behrens, and for over 20 years, I have been a professional wrestler. And about 10 years ago, I decided that I was done working out in commercial gyms and wanted to build my own home gym space. Fast forward to where I'm standing at right now in my single car garage gym, I've learned a thing or two about what equipment makes sense in a home gym and how to maximize the equipment bring in so you're getting the best bang for your buck, which leads me to the Grit Runner Elite. Over the last 6 months, I have been putting it to the test, putting it through its paces, however you want to say it, and really seeing if it is as good as they claim it to be. So we're going to talk about my experience with it, the thing that I think sets this apart from other treadmills on the market and really makes it a versatile piece of equipment in your home gym. Then we're going to talk about some of the questions and comments that I've gotten on other videos, and then we'll end by talking about my issues with the Grit Runner Elite. So my experience with it has been great. I had never owned a curved treadmill before, but I had ran on some and it was good and I liked it to a certain extent, but I'm not a runner and I've never been a runner. So it was a new experience getting used to the curved treadmill. I'd run on flat treadmills before and they were fine, but the thing that I always noticed about the home gym versions is they weren't durable. They weren't enough to handle my size. I'm 6'5", I weigh 270, 275 pounds. So I need a piece of equipment that is built solidly that can handle the wear and tear and the abuse that I put it through. And this can do that and then some. I've used it pretty much every workout over the last 6 months and it looks like brand new. I mean, it's a little dirty, a little dusty maybe, but it looks like brand new and is showing no signs of wear and tear. I've walked on it, I've ran on it, I've jogged on it, I've done sprints on it, and then I do sled pushes using the resistance levers on it, and it stands up and it's great, and I have no issues with the usability of the runner. The thing that I like about it is when you step on it, the belt is not so fast that you feel like you're gonna fall or you can't get your footing or you have to start sprinting right away. It's a nice smooth transition into walking or running on it, and it feels durable under your feet. It doesn't feel like you're running on a flimsy piece of crap. It actually feels like a solid piece of tread under your feet. Walking on it is great, jogging on it is great, running up tempo on it is great, sprinting is great. I love that I can just hop on, hop off, not have to worry about it. I don't even have to use the console if I don't want to because I'm just hopping on, sprinting for a little bit. I got a timer in the gym so I can have the clock running in the gym, not have to worry about the console. There's no buttons to press with a traditional treadmill where you have to turn it on, and motorized treadmill and all that kind of stuff, which is another thing that I like about it. I like that it's not motorized. I like that it's a manual treadmill and it's not connected to a grid. You don't have to have power to it. The console takes a couple batteries, which is great, and it's nice to have the console, but it's not necessary, and so I love that it's an off-grid solution as well. Speaking of the console, it has everything that you need. You can switch between miles and kilometers. It has your wattage, your speed, the miles per hour, the things that you need when running on a treadmill. It's all right there. Plus it has Bluetooth connectivity if you want to use that. So overall, my experience has been great with it, but the thing that really sets it apart is the different levels of resistance. There's 4 levels of resistance that really make this a multi-use piece of equipment. Most other treadmills, most other curved treadmills, you can run and sprint and that's all you can do. It's just running or walking, sprinting, whatever you want to do there. But with the added resistance, this turns this into doing hills. It kind of mimics the idea of doing a hill run. So with the different levels, from 1 to 2, it's not a huge difference. You start at 1, that's just the base. 2, it gets a little more hard to move the belt, and it kind of acts like you're running uphill a little bit. But then from 2 to 3, there's a big difference, and now you're going up a steeper incline, And then from 3 to 4, it turns into a sled push to a certain extent. Not a super heavy weighted sled push, but it mimics everything that a sled push does. And it's so much so that to go from sprinting on a 1, you can do that real easy. Sprinting on level 2 would be okay. Sprinting on level 3 would be a much greater challenge. But sprinting on level 4, I haven't been able to do it. Maybe you can, but I haven't been able to do it on level 4 without stopping, gathering myself, and pushing the sled and to build up to a sprint. You won't be able to just start sprinting and move the belt on level 4. And for me, that's what really makes this treadmill so great, because now I essentially have a sled push in my gym as well as a treadmill. And as a home gym owner with not a huge space, I need to make sure that I'm maximizing every piece of equipment to be as multi-purpose as possible. And one more thing about my experience with the different levels of resistance. For all of you knees over toes people, this piece of equipment is perfect because it mimics exactly the protocol that he talks about when doing the reverse treadmill walking and pushing on a treadmill to bulletproof your knees. My knees feel better now than they have in a very long time. And at 41, the more knee support I can get, the better. So now let's talk about some of the comments and questions I've gotten on prior videos. The one thing that gets brought up the most is the Grit Runner reviews. Now, this is an elite model of the Grit Runner line. So there's a Grit Runner base model and a Grit Runner elite model. The Grit Runner base model got some pretty negative reviews when it first came out, but the price point was so good that people didn't pay much attention to those negative reviews. But there are still some out there, and some people are confusing the base model with the elite model. This is definitely an elite version. They made some improvements. The level of resistance are better. The design overall is better than the base model. So just make sure that you are aware of that. When you're reading some of the reviews, it's probably talking about the base model Grit Runner, not the elite version. One thing that comes up when talking about the Grit Runner and the base model is that the console is a little bit hard to read because it has a little bit smaller screen and is a little bit further away. Well, on the Grit Runner Elite, the screen is bigger and it's much closer to you, so it's super easy to read. Another thing that comes up is the comparison of an Assault Runner versus the Grit Runner Elite. And so the biggest difference is gonna be the Grit Runner Elite has that variable resistance, so you can do more with it because it does mimic that sled approach, whereas the Assault Runner doesn't have that. One of the other questions I got was if there was any surges or hesitations in the movement of the belt, because they said that cheaper treadmills tend to have that. Well, in 6 months of using this, from as short as 15-second sprints to up to 60-minute runs, I've never experienced a unwanted surge in the belt. Now, there is a change in the belt movement when you're switching the resistance levels, but that's to be expected because that's literally what you're trying to do, is change the movement of the belt. So now let's talk about my issues with the Grit Runner Elite. There's only 2. And the first one is a little bit silly, but could be a real issue for some people, and that's the phone holder. The phone holder will not hold a full-size tablet device. I have an iPad Pro and it won't fit in the phone holder. Yes, it's a phone holder, I get it, so why would a tablet fit? But it sure would be nice on those longer runs to be able to hold a full-size tablet so you can have a bigger screen. It holds my iPhone 12 just fine, and I measured it to fit the standard size Kindle for reading while on the treadmill. And then my other issue is actually a real issue for me because it is the resistance level handle and the positioning of it. It gets in the way when I am walking on the treadmill. When I'm running on the treadmill, it's not a problem at all because I hold my hands a little bit higher. But when I'm walking and I'm swinging through, every single time, if I'm not adjusting, I hit my hand on the handle of the resistance lever, and it's annoying. And this part of my hand gets bruised after a while if I don't get it right. And so over the last 6 months, that's been the one thing that has been annoying for me about this. But again, it's a small thing and not a deal breaker because I just move my hand over a little bit and am conscious of using it. And then when I run, it's not an issue at all because my hands are higher up in the air. And this might only be an issue for larger people because you are a little bit wider, and so when your hands swing, they hit the lever. For smaller people, you might not have that problem. My wife, when she uses the treadmill, She doesn't have that problem at all. So it's not a deal breaker, and the benefits of the different levels of resistance far outweigh me hitting my hand a couple times. So I hope this helps when it comes to making your buying decision on the Grit Runner Elite. If you got a question, leave it in the comments and I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. And I'll leave my affiliate link in the description if you want to check it out. And right now they have a Black Friday sale of 20% off the entire site, including the equipment that's already marked down. So they've got marked down equipment. You can get an additional 20% off for Black Friday. So that's it for my 6-month review of the Grit Runner Elite from Tru Grit Fitness. Stay tuned to the channel for more home gym stuff and tips on how you can perform better, recover faster, and live healthier. I'll see you in the next video.